Hey there guys, I am the Sixth Machine and welcome back to another Warhammer video. So in an absolutely 100% out of left field reveal today, what was meant to be a reveal show about the Black Library has turned into quite possibly one of the most exciting model previews I can remember. We now have confirmation that there is a new novel in the incredibly famous, fantastically written Gaunt's Ghost series written by Dan Abnett. And we are getting a brand new story entitled The Vincular Insurgency, which is set back in the very, very early days of the Ghost's history. Back when the regiment didn't know Gaunt very well, he didn't know them, and in many cases, the men themselves didn't know the other men in their squads. And so this is going to be an absolutely fascinating book, which will hopefully dive into a lot of the rivalries, friendships, troubles, and hardships which faced the entire regiment back when it was very first finding its feet. And I, for one, am all about that. I loved the earlier books where there was still that element of distrust, seeing Rawn plotting against Gaunt, and the element of wariness throughout the men, whether they should follow Ibram into battle and that kind of thing. I just cannot wait to see how this early look at the regiment reveals new things, as well as sheds light potentially on things that we are now aware of that have happened later on down the line in the novels. There is a truly fantastic looking collectible set you can get your hands on, which comes with a gorgeous looking leather bound case and some pins and coins, so if you are a collector of that kind of thing, I think this will be well up your street. And we also got to see that not only is a Sabbath War anthology coming out, featuring stories from loads of great authors like obviously Dan Abnett, but also Graham McNeill, John French, amongst others. But in addition to that, we were also teased with a Sabbath Worlds reference book, which, as you can see on your screen now, also looks incredibly ornate and stylish, bringing with it background, maps, charts, and loads more, which will really tickle your fancy if you love the Sabbath Worlds Crusade and want to learn even more about it. But what was quite possibly the biggest and most exciting part about this reveal was that we are, in addition to all of this, getting some brand new, updated, and honestly jaw-dropping models featuring some of the favourites from the Tanith First and Only. So yes, 6 major characters from the books that you will know and love are being brought back in absolutely stunning form. As you can see, we have the main man himself, Colonel Commissar Ibram Gaunt, wielding his chainsword and bolt pistol, although I will say, I kinda hope he has an optional power sword as well because, well, if you know the stories, you'll know. Fan favourite Com Corbeck is also here, looking as rugged and unkempt as ever with his trusty gnarlwood lasgun, and I have to say, I absolutely love that they've depicted that design on the lasguns. It really is a great homage to the series and the regiment, and incredibly, unbelievably fluffy. We are also getting Elim Rawn. Love him or hate him, he looks every bit as ruthless as you would expect him to, and carrying that straight silver with an incredibly murderous looking face. Up next we have Larkin, the famous crack shot of the Tanith First and Only. He looks, I was going to say initially, he looks a bit younger than I'd have expected, because I always saw him as being really quite old, but I will just say, as I've been sort of writing this, these are meant to be representations of the ghosts right at the start of their journey, which is a good long while ago, so, you know, right after their founding. So it probably is a lot more accurate, this image here, than the image that I have in my head now of Larkin, where in my head, he and all the other ghosts have been through years and years and years of struggle and warfare, and this was when he was pretty much fresh off the regimental founding, and still kind of finding his feet, so still relatively young. I mean, he's still one of the oldest of the Tanith, obviously, but he isn't greyed and wizened and as wiry as I think the picture of Larkin that I have in my head is. Try Again Bragg also makes an appearance, the huge brutish soldier with a heart of gold, carrying what seems to be an autocannon in 2 hands. Again, I really love this model, but do kind of hope it comes with a heavy bolter option to swap out for the autocannon. And then finally we have quite possibly my favourite character in the series, aside from maybe McVenna, we have McCall. He is the scout sergeant of the Tanith and one of the sneakiest, stealthiest people you will ever meet. Or possibly not meet, as he will almost certainly sneak up on you. I really, truly genuinely do love all of these models. They've managed to get such a true, faithful representation of how I picture these guys from reading the dozen plus books that Dan Abnett has put out, and seeing them all realized just so wonderfully with the cloaks and their knives and the gnarlwood stocks of their lasguns. It really is mind-blowing to see. I do genuinely hope that this is something of a precursor to some new Guard models coming our way, and although I think it's highly unlikely that the eventual Cadian replacements, whatever they may be, will be the Tanith First and Only, I really hope that the new Guard kit does have things like these cloaks and the daggers in them, so that you can recreate a regiment that you really love and you really want to see on the battlefield. And I also have to say, the incredible in proportion models with realistic hand sizes and head sizes and feet sizes is really, really welcome, and I'm so excited to see what may be in store for the Astra Militarum over the next year. They are of course getting rules for 40k, so I'm hoping that even in a regular Imperial Guard force you can add these guys as a unique unit, kind of like those two little rattling dudes from Blackstone Fortress, and I really hope that when the eventual Guard Codex does come out, these guys get a proper entry in there. I expect that Gaunt will be a separate HQ entry, but either way I will definitely be adding the Ghosts and Gaunt to my painting list if nothing else, and taking them in either a kill team or as part of a small crusade force is going to be absolutely 100% amazing. I know I kind of dug on GW a bit yesterday for what I felt was a bit of a lackluster reveal, but this has honestly made me feel a lot better, and we now have had 1 and a bit days of 40k reveals if you include this, with 1 more day to go, so I get it. They've obviously spaced it out to fill the week, so you know what, I can let them off, and I do understand why yesterday felt a little bit reined in. One final note is that there is a really good 15-minute interview with the man himself, Mr. Dan Abnett, about the upcoming Gaunt's Ghost release and how it fits into the overall story of Gaunt and the Tanith First and Only. So I would highly recommend you go to the Warhammer community page and check it out, because honestly it's a great interview, and Dan is, as ever, an absolutely lovely person to hear talk about the hobby. But anyway, that is it for today. I just wanted to focus on the Tanith release from this rather than the whole overall Black Library reveal, as I think that would be a really long video if I did. So I'm just going to leave it there and say, what did you think of these Ghosts models? Which one is your favourite? And do they look as you envisioned them after reading the novels? Let me know in the comments below, and as always, thank you very much for watching. Please do like and subscribe for more Warhammer content from me, but until next time, I will catch you later, guys.